All right, welcome once again to the lecture number 21 of the deep learning course. In this session, we are going to see some of the popular CNN architectures. Last class, we have seen that what are the different kind of CNN architectures are there, what uh, the broad idea that what is the basic requirements over there, how it works, and some of the mathematical thing that if you have an image and you apply a CNN, what is going to happen, what is going to happen with the image, and what does it mean, what is logically it means feature extraction. And we have seen that the different kind of kernels, and when we apply that, we have also seen that we can stack various components, and we can think that these components are independently doing something. For example, something is doing enhancement, something is doing feature extraction, something doing other things, and at the end of this, we can apply a classification head and find out the classification. So we have seen that the deep neural network kind of architecture actually gives you something that actually at the end directly, if you feed something like this as a raw input, you immediately can get the final output. So this is the very important thing. Today we are going to discuss first that a very important paper, very influential paper that previously also I have mentioned this to you, that this paper appeared in 1998, and it was the gradient based learning applied to document recognition. This was a paper. So what was the interesting idea into this particular paper was this, that this paper was actually around 1998 talking about something related to the CNN. So the CNN architecture, it has actually kind of proposed, but what happens that after some time, okay, but after some time, people have realized, because at that time, around 1998, so you know that the operating system that was released by Windows was the Windows 98 operating system. You may not heard about this, but actually Windows 95 was some good operating system that they have given. After that, Windows 97 came, and after that, Windows 98 came. After that, XP came. So when the Windows XP came around 2000, at that time things were a kind of stable. Now you have an operating system that has a very small size, and I believe that it was very good software. But before that, when we were actually into this particular time, what was happening that you were not sure that what is going to happen when you are going to do the shutdown. So if you shut down the computer, you would not be able to find out anything. So every day you have to take backup, and so many things was there. So many viruses were coming, so many problems were there. Software technology was not that great, and the computer speed of the computer was also very small at that particular time. You have seen that if you go beyond, go back, you can find out that earlier the speed of the computer was like MBs. Now you can see that 10 to the power minus 6 instructions per second. But earlier it was not like that. Only fraction of that was available. The speed was also, computer speed was also very less, and nobody was talking about GPU into the general domain. So therefore, however, this architecture was proposed, but it was not able. It was very difficult to train by anybody. That is the reason people start saying that actually a neural network is actually dead. But let me tell you that this is the one of the phenomenal paper at that particular time, and the same idea, the similar kind of idea, has been utilized by AlexNet around 2011, around 2011. A similar kind of idea has been utilized around 2011, and the uh, rebirth of the deep learning and the everything happened, and now we can see that lot of uh, improvement over there. So let us try to understand this historical thing that the people has actually at that time forget, and for many of the time they said that actually a neural network has dead, and now we have to do the handcrafted method only, because handcrafted method started showing very good result. What do I mean by handcrafted method? That when you see an image and you apply your brain, that how can I should do over there, that some juggling kind of thing, that if I see that what is around neighborhood, should I take the difference of 2 or 3, means everything you are doing by handcrafted methods. And then when you come up with a kind of idea, this idea most of the time actually fits to a small set of data, because human can only consider a small set of things for the for developing something. So but when there is a computer, when there is a deep learning based system, it has lot of parameter, and now you can consider lot of data. At that time, when the person were considering the thing, the data was also very small. So let us first see the architecture, everything would come into our picture. So this is the architecture. So this particular problem is actually handwritten digit recognition problem. So there is a database called MNIST. So on this database, the things were applied. What is there inside the MNIST database? You know that there is a postcard. Into the postcard, after the address, there is some pin code. There is space to write the pin code. This particular place, person write the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a huge collection of these postcards were taken, and these digits were cut. So very small images were there. So because you can see that if I scan only this particular small part, so how much I am going to get? Okay, so 32 cross 32 is the size of this particular image. So very small images, and in these images there could be a digit. It could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 9. So how many digits are there? 9 digits are there. So if I want to build a classifier for MNIST kind of database, so how many outputs I need? How many outputs should be there? Can anybody tell how many outputs I need? 10, because 0 to 1, because everything is going to correspond, na? Whether it is 0, whether it is 1, what is the probability of it being 9, like that. So 10 outputs are there. So therefore there is a 10 output. In the output layer there are 10 things. So let me start from beginning. So the input image is of 32 cross 32, and then there is a filter of 5 cross 5 size. If I apply a filter of 5 cross 5 size, how many parameters we have? 5 cross 5 means 25 different values. Okay, in one kernel is a 5 cross 5. So 5 into 5 means 25 different values are there, and they need to be multiplied by everywhere. CNN is the architecture is like that. It is going to be multiplied to everywhere, and you are going to get an output. So this not only 6 number of such things are applied. 6 number of filters are applied. When you apply one filter, you get whatever is the input, you get one plane. Okay, with respect to everything, you are going to get a plane. So how many filters I am going to apply? I am going to apply 6 things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planes I am going to obtain. And since every plane has a 5 multiplied by 5 number of parameters, the total number of parameters is going to be this multiplied by 6. It comes out to be 150. So 150 number of parameters I have into this particular layer. When I'm going to talk about this particular thing, 150 number of parameters are there. Let us also try to understand that what happens to the image. So image was 32 cross 32. So the final size is going to be 32 minus 5 plus 1 divided by stride. Stride is 1. So this gives you what? This gives you what value? It is 28 cross 28. So new image that you are going to get, for example, here it is going to be 28 cross 28. Till now everything is fine? No, it is not RGB. Yeah, it is not RGB. All right. Okay. Now after that, they are going to apply a pooling layer, max pooling layer. They are applying a max pooling. Max pooling means what? Again, seeing a small neighborhood and finding out the maximum value or minimum value. So if again the filter size that they are going to use is 2. So every 2 cross 2 means every 4 value is going to give you 1 value when you apply like that. And then if you apply like this, so how many parameters you have? 4 cross 4 area, you are going to get 1 value. 4 parameters, 4 values are there. So because big image is there, and at one place you want to find out something out of 4 things, how many parameters you need? 4 parameter? Are everybody agree? No, it is not 4 things. It is 0 parameter. There is no parameter. You are not learning anything. You want to find out the maximum. What does it mean? Is there any parameter? Do you know parameter? Parameter is some value. If you change that value, something is going to different. What you are going to change here? You want to find out the maximum. You have to only specify this. I want to find out the maximum. Is there any parameter? No, there is no parameter. So number of parameters at this particular place is 0. Are you convinced that there is no parameter? Okay. For example, if 2 values are there, for example, I say that A and B, I have 2 values. Parameter could be W1 plus W2. These are 2 parameters. Now I get some value. For example, there is some function that is going to give me some value. So if I change these parameters, I'm going to get a different thing. If I want to find out the maximum of these 2 values, for example, max, so what I'm going to change so that I can get the different value? I cannot change anything. If the A and B are specified, there is nothing in my hand that I can change. So there is no parameter. So number of parameter here in this particular layer is 0. All right. So what becomes the size of what becomes the size of this new image? So you know that 28 cross 28 becomes half 14 cross 14. Make sense? All right. So since on every plane you have to apply this. How many planes you have? 6 planes. So you are here again. You are going to get the 6 plane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 planes again. You are going to get. Next layer. Somebody is speaking something.
Excuse me, sir.
So please write in which room is the offline class taking place. Okay. What is the room number? 615. Okay. So there was a question in which room the offline class is taking place. The answer is 6152 NAB. Okay. All right. So let us continue. So what I'm telling over here, that after this, when you are going to get this thing, you are again going to apply the filter of 5 cross 5 size. Okay. So if you again apply the filter of 5 cross 5, so how many values you are going to have? 5 cross 5. Now the filter is going to give you one value. Again, what is going to happen? That filter is going to give you one value. Filter is 5 cross 5. So 5 cross 5 values are there. But at this particular time, there is not only one plane. This time we have a big plane when you are going to apply this once again. Sorry. So here, when you want to apply, this particular plane is there. In every plane, there are 6 different planes. In every plane, you have to multiply with a 5 cross 5. Okay. Now you have to multiply everything. If you want to find out one value, in first plane, you have to multiply 5 cross 5. Second plane also 5 cross 5, 5 cross 5, 5 cross 5. So the filter size is not only 5 cross 5. 5 cross 5 multiplied by 6. 5 cross 5 multiplied by 6. So 6 multiplied by 5 cross 5. Now these many parameters would be there. Make sense? So if these many parameters are there, and I am telling that I am applying 16 such kernels, not only one, I am applying 16 such kernels. So how many parameters we have? Is multiplied by 16. These many number of parameters would be here in this particular place. Make sense? So what is this number? Can anybody find out this for me? Can you multiply and let me know what is this value? 2400. 2400. These many number of parameters are there. Again, the next layer. So as I'm telling, there are 16 such things are I'm going to apply. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can find out there's 16 different things I'm going to get. 16 different planes I'm going to get. Next is again the pooling layer, and as I told you, again max pooling I'm going to apply, and with this max pooling, number of parameters is going to be 0. Okay. One minute. From 14 cross 14, what is my size? It is 14 minus 5 plus 1, because filter was 5 plus 5. So the things becomes of what size? It becomes 10 cross 10. So now here you get 10 cross 10. Okay. After this 10 cross 10, you are going to again apply the max pooling. As I told you, number of parameters is 0. In the max pooling, I don't have anything. But every plane is going to get reduced into the size. What would be the reduction? So 10 cross 10, if the filter is size of 2 cross 2, so 4 values are going to give me one value. Every dimension is going to be half. Now 5 cross 5. How many values I am going to get? Same number of things. Means 16 different things. How many different values I have? So one minute. One layer has 5 cross 5. So it is 5 cross 5. Na? Here what I have? 5 cross 5. One layer has this many values. How many layers we have? We have 16 layers. So this many number of values I am going to get an output. Am I right? So what is this number? 5 cross 5 into 16. How much it is? 400. Am I right? It is 400. 400 different values here I am going to get. I am going to get here 400 different values. So till now, this part is the finding out the feature. Okay. This part is I am going to find out the feature. After this feature, we have to apply a classification head. After this feature, this part is the classification head. It try to find out the classification. This part is the feature extraction. We have extracted the feature. We want to build a classification head. So classification, you know that it's simple. Whenever you have a simple kind of neural network architecture, how many layers you apply? 2 layers, 3 layers, not more than that. So they have applied two hidden layers, and one is the output layer. Output layer, you know that because 10 categories are there, there will be 10 things only. What is going to happen into this in between thing? Let's see. So if, the first layer is going to have 120 neurons. Okay, okay. So let me write here. So this particular part, let me draw like this. Okay, make sense? Let me clear also so that no clutter is there. Okay, okay. So let me just quickly clear this. So what yeah. So just see this from the upper layer perspective. Okay, see at the top. So this particular part, I'm going to represent as this, and I'm going to say that at the end there are 400 values that are going to come out. And after that, I have to apply a classification head. I have to apply a classification head where how many values are there? 10 values are there. In between there is one layer, this, and another layer, this, and this is the final layer, that is final. This architecture that is going to do a classification is mostly what? It is a fully connected thing. So fully connected thing. How many things are there? 120 values are there. 400 values are there. So, if I pick any other neuron over here, it need to be connected with all of them. There should also be one bias term. So this neuron will be connected to how much? 400 plus one different value. How much such neurons are there? 120. So multiplied by 120. These many number of parameters are there. So can you tell me what is this number? It is बताओ, मल्टीप्लाई करो भाई, गुणा भाग हमसे कराओगे क्या? What is this number? 48 122. ठीक है, I don't know. These many number of parameters are there. After that, what is going to happen? Again, the same thing going to happen, that there is something that is going to be connected with everything. How many things are there? 120. So it is going to be 120, 20 plus 1, and then it is multiplied by with how many? How many things are there? 84. 84 different things are there. Okay, 84. So it is multiplied by 84. So these many number of parameters are here. Okay, these many number of parameters are here. Final layer, again 10 things are there, everything is going to be connected with the 84. So it is going to be 84 plus 1 multiplied by 10. These many number of parameters are here. All right, after that you can get the classification. Any problem in that? So we have seen that the 150 parameter are here, then there is no parameter, then 2400, then no parameter, then 48120, then 10164, then 850 number of parameter. You can find out the summation of these numbers and tell that these many number of parameters were there. This number is too large, and that's why the people thought that very difficult to train, and this is a useless kind of architecture. Person is only increasing the number of things and difficulty, and that's why it was not at that time it was not being carried forward for many years. But you have seen this diagram earlier also, that there was a very interesting development, and that was about the ImageNet data. And ImageNet have actually thrown this ImageNet large scale visual recognition challenge. This is a website for that. They have thrown this kind of challenge to the community, and there were many images. 22,000 categories were there, 14 million images were there. But this particular competition was thrown on only 14, 31, 167 number of images, where only 1,000 categories were there. This competition was thrown on this. Competition was on in 2009, and in 1 year, people has to try to solve this particular problem. So the first solution that came, that was using histogram of gradient and local binary pattern and SVM for the classifier. So all these things are actually, they are not very much significant for us, but just let me tell you that what is LBP. For example, if you have an image, okay, so let's assume that you have an image. So people have thought that if you increase the what is the biggest problem? Most of the time the intensity of light actually varies on the same object. Intensity of the light, let's assume that the same thing I'm going to capture, intensity of light is going to vary, but if you try to see that what is happening on this particular thing, it would be only related to what is nearby. Okay, if I see the difference, for example, if I compare, if I use this thing and create another thing over there, so I want to see, देखो जरा ध्यान से क्या कह रहा हूँ मैं, this value is greater than this value or not. I don't know, maybe 1, it is greater than this. Whether this value is greater than this value, maybe not. Whether this value is greater than this, maybe yes, maybe not, maybe yes, maybe not, maybe yes, maybe not. Understand? So for every pixel you can generate this thing. समझ आ रहा है क्या किया? नहीं, वो नहीं समझ आया. Pick the pixel value, nearby, compare with the nearby values. If it is, this value is greater than, you put 1, otherwise put 0. What you come up with, this kind of thing you can come up. किसकी नहीं समझ आ रहा? किसी की नहीं समझ आ रहा? Take an image. Here is a pixel. What is the value? Maybe 50. See what is the nearby, maybe 52, maybe 90, maybe 80, maybe 70, maybe 30, maybe 20, maybe 35, maybe 55, these values. Maybe, anyway, I'm just telling. So what you are going to do is this: you are going to compare with all these values. And if you compare, and I am pretty sure that you will not be able to read this, and in your mind you'll be telling that, sir, what you are doing. 50, 52 becomes 1, this becomes 1, this becomes 1, this becomes 1, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, this becomes 1. है Okay, all right. So now it is up to you कि आप concept in which direction you are going to take. Let me say that I have taken this direction. Okay, this direction. So collect all these values in this direction. So value is going to be 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. You come into direction, na? 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. This is the value. All right. So what I was saying, I was telling like this, that this image is going. So welcome once again. We were talking about there was a question that what we would do with this kind of image after getting this kind of image. Again, as I'm telling that, you can apply some kind of feature extraction, such as where are the corner features. You can apply, for example, shift also. Shift features you can find out to do this. And again, let me tell you that LBP can also be utilized as a feature. Sometimes LBP also can be utilized. As I told you that if something is going to change, if the only elimination is going to change, it is not going to give me a wrong result. Matching score would be higher. The same elimination changes is going to give me the similar kind of results. So after that, we do a feature extraction, and then we do the matching, maybe finding out some using some method to find out the similarity, and then we can go ahead. I was telling you that LXNet was a very good architecture that had reduced this error to 60%, and we have all these things we have discussed in the previous class, that LXNet was the first attempt. So it was not very much optimized. So 1 year time, people has actually optimized as much, and then the network was called the ZFnet, small variation into this, and the error was reduced to 12%. Anybody would like to introduce more layers, because here only 8 layers were there. So next architecture, that was a VGG, tried to apply 16 and 19 and different kind of sizes. And VGG 19 actually has a error of 7.3%. Very good architecture. Error from 12% had reduced to 7.3%. Next, even when you are only applying this kind of idea that I'm going to increase the layers, you would definitely like to have another idea that because Shift was a very good algorithm that came. And what was the importance of the Shift? That it was trying to see the things at a various scales. What do I mean by scales? You know that when we apply a filter, if the filter is 5 cross 5, it actually focuses and highlights the item which are actually 5 cross 5. Anything below of that size actually diminishes. That becomes a detail and diminishes if we want to remove. We have seen that. And that's why when we apply a filter and we find out the difference and add the difference to the original image, the details are actually get better. If we apply 5 cross 5 filter and find out the difference with the original image, whatever we find out as a subtraction and add to the original image, what is enhanced? Anything that is lesser than 5 cross 5, that thing are increased. Okay, so when we apply different size of filter, we are trying to see a different size of the item. Okay, so with the different kind of filters, the idea comes as a resonate. It tells Google LeanIt, that is also called the inception. It uses inception blocks, and inception blocks are actually something that actually sees the things at a different level and then consolidate the results. And using different kind of these inception blocks, Google LeanIt was devised. So this was very good architecture. Then again come a very interesting idea, and ResNet. And ResNet is a very simple idea. We will discuss today. If the time permits, we are going to discuss. Actually, I have planned everything today, but I don't think that we are going to cover. So in later classes, we would see that what happens, that people thought that if something can be done with the 50 layers, if I apply 100 layers, it would be, again, can be done. This idea they have applied, because we don't know hyperparameter, we don't know. So this is become free from the hyperparameter. Push everything to the computer's side, put 200 layers and forget about any problem you have, put 500 layers and still go and solve this particular problem. So they really will be able to solve. Okay, go to your maximum limit to the computer. But the general understanding was this, that if something works with the 10 layers, adding 5 more layers actually means that they are identical. They are going to learn something, identity mapping, one mapping, because everything was there. They are not doing, new layers are not going to do anything. They are going to copy whatever they have earlier layers and learned. The same thing they are going to copy. But here it was a problem. They were not able to do that, and therefore some fundamental changes they have actually introduced into this particular architecture, because this idea was not great. How can we make this idea work was important. They have applied the skip connections, and that was actually made it possible, that this idea was made possible to train. So we are going to see this into the later slides. So since at that particular time we had reduced it to 3.6, we don't talk much about that. After that, we are satisfied that, okay, we achieved very high accuracy with that. Let us see the LXNet. Okay, LXNet is again the similar kind of architecture as I told you, that here the image is of 227 cross 227 ImageNet images, because it is not on the MNS database, it is on the ImageNet database. ImageNet database has the images of the size 227 cross 227. They are RGB images. So how many channels we have? 3 channels we have. Okay, your point. Then into the next layer, the first layer that I'm going to apply. So the filter size is 11 cross 11. Filter size is 11 cross 11. So filter size is 11 cross 11. So how many parameters I have? 11 cross 11 cross 3. Okay, because 3 layers are there, na? Because 3 layers are there, RGB. So this many number of parameters I have. So how many such convolutions are applied? 96 convolutions. So 96. So these many number of parameters are there between this particular layer. Every filter is going to give me one plane. So how many layers I'm going to get? These many number of layers I'm going to get. I'm going to write this into this particular way. I'm going to say that 96 different this, okay, 227 cross 227 cross 3. This is what the input size. Then there is a filter of 96 of filter of 11 cross 11, 11 cross 11. Stride is 4. All right. There is no padding. If there is no padding, stride is 4. So what is the size? It is 227 minus what? 11 divided by 4 plus 1. This is the size that I'm going to get. Can you find out what is the value? So it is 51 cross 51. Okay. So you are going to get new image as a 51 cross 51. Now we want to find out what is going to be next. Next thing is the max pooling. Okay, next thing is the max pooling with the filter of size 3 cross 3 with the stride is equal to 2. Now here is a interesting thing. Earlier, if the stride seems to be if the stride has been 3, then the different portion I'm going to get. Now if the stride is 2, so there is some overlap also. Oh, okay, there is some overlap. If I'm going to get the data, there will be overlap also. Size become 20 cross 27 cross 27, 96. 1 minute. 96 things I'm going to get, because every plane is going to give me one value. This is what the size is. Then again I'm going to apply 256 convolution of the 5 cross 5, and with the stride of 1, pooling, no pooling. Then a max pooling with the filter is equal to 2, stride is equal to filter is equal to size 3 cross 3, size equal to 2, 384 of 3 cross 3, 384 of again 3 class 3, 256 of 3 class 3. We should not go into that much detail. It is something. You can ask, sir, what is the rationale behind using this? Nobody can answer this. They have tried multiple things and this worked. And they have to train something. They applied multiple things and they were able to train this particular network. As I told you that some better network can also be possible. And ZFNet is an example. Just changing something over here and there, they find out the parameter. Three layers into the classification head. Why 1000 here? Can anybody tell? Why they have put 1000 here? 1000 categories. Okay, there were 1000 classes. That's why this is 1000. Before that, 4096, 4096. This is the dense connection. Okay, so this is the thing. 27.55 million parameters were there, and ReLU activation was used whenever there is things are going to transfer from one place. Activations are applied. ReLU activation were applied. ReLU is again, you know that. What is the importance of ReLU? It gives you immediately. It can give you the gradient. You can immediately find out the gradient. So ReLU activation was used. This is for the LXNet. This is the paper that appeared after when they actually won this competition. After that, they have written the paper, and the paper appeared in NIPS 2012. Very big conference. Actually talks about the theoretical things into the machine learning, and very interesting, very big conference. Okay. Next architecture that I wanted to discuss, if the time permits, I think we have time, is about the ZFNet. ZFNet, as I told you, that came next year. So it appeared, however, it takes some time to get published. Appeared, this paper was 2012, now it is 2014. And it is ECCV, very good conference, European Conference of Computer Vision, one of the top conferences. This paper actually talks about how can you optimize the architecture, previous architecture. So what they have done, if you see, so with the original event 227, same input is there. They have changed this 11 class 11 to 7 class 7. Okay, they told that see the things at the 7 class 7. After that, 3 class 3. After that, 5 class 5. After that, 3 class 3. 256. Everything is same. No? Only after this change, everything is same. Max pooling, 256. But here there is a problem. After that, they have changed something. What they have changed? 384 becomes 512. They have increased. Because they want to, it is a higher level. You are at the higher level. You are constructing the feature. Why don't consider more features? Okay? Because at the lower level, you have constructed something. At the higher level, you are going to make more things. More different kind of understanding from that. Instead of 384, 512. 384, 1024. 256, 512. After that, they have consolidated into the same way, so that the output becomes here you get the same size things, and then the dense thing are also going to be the same. So number of parameter actually got increased. Understand? Number of parameter got increased. But how many parameters increased? 1.45 million parameters have increased. But the accuracy has increased, so everything is justified if you can do better. Interesting idea. Okay, next architecture. Let us see. We have time. VGE 16. Very popular architecture. Most of the time you see this, and this is a very popular architecture. The first thing that they have said that everywhere I am going to put a different kind of thing. Don't do that. Every different kind of filters. Everywhere you put the filter of the 3 class 3 only. VGE 16 is a 16 layer architecture that tells that here 4096 was there. If I reduce this, so I can see 4096. Okay, 4096, same here. Okay, and this is also going to be the same. Okay, so it is going to tell. Now I am going to increase the what? Increase the layers. How many layers I am going to have? First layer, second layer, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. 16-layer architecture. Here, no, because it is a max pooling now only. If you apply max pooling, there is no parameter. So it is just a consolidation. No learning is happening. So we are not counting that as a layer. Layers are where at the place where there are weights. This is 16-layer architecture. 16 million parameters of fully connected and 122 into the after the fully connected. So you see that lot of parameters are here. Whatever features you are learning lot of parameters here. This is the biggest issue, that most of the parameters are here. So when the next architecture would come, you would see that they have removed one of these layers, and they have said that why don't we increase more parameter over here? Better feature would be extracted, and then we have to apply lesser number of fully connected things. Okay, next architecture that you would see, Inception Net, that actually says that I'm not going to use 3 things, only 2 things. Instead, I'm going to increase something over here so that number of parameters are increased. It is useless to go into the technical details of this architecture. 2015. So, but at least I suggest you that you please read one by one, try to understand that how many parameters are there, how the size is going to change. At least you should be able to well versed with that. One more important thing with this kind of architecture is this, that sometime we can, for example, here, whatever I'm going to get, I can use it as a feature. One more thing that this architecture is used for is this, that sometime, because it is a very big architecture, you cannot train everything from zero. The group that actually have proposed this, they have a lot of computation power, they have trained it. You don't have that much kind of processing power. What you can do, you can use this particular part and you can freeze these things. I'm not going to change anything over here, and you change only this particular part. So sometimes what you can do, you can freeze some portion of this and you can train this thing for your particular task. For example, if you have any particular task, you apply, because you are going to define a last function. At the end, you are going to see whatever the value is going to get. Based on that, you are going to define a last function, and you feed the inputs and do a kind of different number of epochs to train your things, different number of epochs to train your model. Here you say that I'm not going to change the parameter which are here. I'm only allowing to change the parameter over here. Most of the time this works. Okay, because at the lower layer, whatever you are seeing is not important. At the higher level consolidation layer, you are allowing that I'm going to change these things. So different, it depends upon your requirement. Means how much processing power you have also on that whether you want to use this particular feature, whatever is coming from this VGG16. Many other time people use this also, that whatever is coming from here, they are going to use as a feature. Sometimes they use this part as a feature and train this part. If you have more thing, you can take this as a this from the VGG and train this particular part. All these things are possible. I would not go into the detail of this next architecture. You would see into the next class. But again, let me just quickly give you the brief idea. The brief idea is this, that I am going to see the things at the different levels. So if there is something, if there is some image, for example, there is some image or representation with me, I am going to see it at the different layers. Okay. So I'm going to apply max pooling. I'm going to convolution some different side of convolutions, different type of convolution I'm going to apply, and then I'm going to merge them as a one. As I told you that when we apply different size of filters, means that I'm focusing on the different size of the things. All right. So this is what it is. We would see this into the next class. Few more slides are there. So thank you very much for attending this session. Welcome back once again to the next class.